Hi guys, Alex McCarthy of Talk Sport here, just about to drop my new interview with Seth Rollins right here on Inside the Ropes. We get into all of his rivalry with Roman Reigns, the hopes and plans for that originally perhaps, mentioning Jon Moxley, Brock Lesnar being added to day one, the series with Edge, Kevin Owens alliance and him re-signing with WWE. All excellent stuff right here on the Inside the Ropes YouTube channel. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff before you go ahead and watch this interview with Seth Rollins.
Hey Seth, how are you, my man?
Good, how are you?
I'm very good, my friend. Been a while, but glad to chat to you once more. I'll jump right into it because I know we don't have that much time. So, first of all, very pumped for the Royal Rumble. Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, that title is on the line, Universal title. Man, like, the electricity with you two together, it kind of feels like this has been a long time coming. We all know the history, but how exciting is it to be, on that big stage with Roman once more? I guess there's no one more perfect for Seth Rollins in many ways.
Yeah, I mean, this is a WrestleMania main event caliber match, no question. I definitely think we're going to kick WrestleMania season off the right way with a bang. And I'll be the one taking the Universal Championship into WrestleMania, which is exciting. So, it's a match. It's always going to be me and Roman. It's always going to come down to me and Roman. We are, in many ways, the top two stars in WWE in this generation. And I think fans have been clamoring for this match, especially, with where both of us are at in our career paths. And we didn't think we were going to get it, but now here we are. And like I said, it's a WrestleMania main event. So I'm looking forward to the electricity at the Rumble.
When you say you didn't think you were going to get it as well, is that a case of like timing, or that things were meant to play out differently? Like, we know obviously that day one plans changed, but because there seemed to be a couple of teasers last year that got me excited, but then ultimately obviously you moved to Raw. So is it a case of the stars just aligned at the right time, do you think?
Yeah, aligned or misaligned, I don't know. You know what I mean? It depends on how you look at it. So, I was on SmackDown on the rise for a long time. Roman was beating tons of guys over there. It seemed like month after month he was getting a new challenger and just putting them down. And, he was kind of clearing the way. And the only guy that he wasn't getting touched by was me. And whether that was by design or not, I don't know. But at the end of the day, I got I drafted to Raw, moved over here, shifted my focus. And, because of the brand split, it was one of those things where we go, it looks like we're not going to get the matchup that, the kind of the ultimate matchup of top stars on SmackDown. But like you said, the stars aligned or misaligned as they sometimes do here in WWE. And here we are at the Royal Rumble, in St. Louis in front of tens of thousands of people. And we're about to have a WrestleMania caliber main event.
I see as well, like, a lot of fans have appreciated the fact that you've mentioned a lot of the Shield history, including Moxley by name. Did you think that was important to I guess it's kind of rewarding for a lot of the fans that have followed the Shield for a long journey, I think.
Yeah, it's just an Easter egg, I think, for some of the fans who've stuck around and enjoyed our history and have followed us for years and stuff like that. It'd be very easy to tell the story of, the tribal chief versus the visionary, our past years. That's a simple story, and that's obvious for everybody who watches on a weekly basis. But like I said, if you follow the industry and you pay attention and where we came from and our history, there was a third guy in the mix. And so, I'm not going to sit here and ignore that history. I'm gonna bring that up because I think that's important, and I think people who care about that appreciate it. And so it was one of those things where it was there right on the tip of my tongue. It made sense, and so there it came.
I do want to touch on a couple of things as well that have led us to the Royal Rumble, because I think the last time we did speak, sometime over a year ago now, but we had spoken about the prospect of Edge, and finally that got to play out this past year, and I'm sure we can all agree how amazing it was from the first pay-per-view match, Madison Square Garden, culminating in that amazing bout at Crown Jewel. Was everything that you hoped for, man? Because, like, you're no stranger to great matches, but doing it with a legend, the amount of years that kind of led up to it, the story, as you say, the Easter eggs that had been laid, it must have been so fulfilling when you did that third and final one.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where, you kind of have in your mind the possibility, 7 years ago, it'd be like, what if? What if we could do this? What would it look like? And you spend your free time daydreaming about it. And then, you hear flashback to a few years ago and you hear, oh, wait, he's making a comeback. Wow, this could be a real possibility. And then when it's, right at your front door, I think you're excited. Obviously, we wanted to make it as interesting and as memorable as possible because it was such a special pairing. But at the same time, you didn't want to screw it up because the expectations are so high. And it's very rare that you get a situation where the expectations are through the roof and you feel, at least I feel like we got to exceed those expectations. That doesn't happen very often, especially just in modern wrestling today. I think people hype things up so much that, and this is just all entertainment really, that the actual product ends up being disappointed just because you expect so much out of it. Whereas I do think that the story with Edge and I actually exceeded a lot of expectations. And so I was really proud of that. And it's something when I look back on it, I think, in a decade or longer, it'll be something that stands the test of time. And that's pretty cool.
You just said as well at the front door, no pun intended, how much fun did you have visiting his house?
Oh yeah, it was a blast, dude. It was like I said, everything and more. It was really, really, really fun to be able to go there and just have kind of a clean slate, a blank canvas to do whatever I wanted and just be weird, make it, we don't do off-site stuff like that, aside from Reggie jumping around a playground occasionally. So it's been a while since anybody's been to a grocery store or jumped in somebody's house or whatever, so it was fun to kind of live in that part of wrestling lore as well. You hop in there with the weird outside shoot type stuff.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome, man. Speaking of things that were awesome, the day one main event, although it was a pivot on the day, I thought was an amazing sprint as well. Just the chaos, man. It was awesome. But for you, I mean, you're a pro's pro. It'll be nothing to you to adjust. But Brock Lesnar entered the mix just hours before the event. You and Brock together are always fantastic. But I mean, how was that, man? Trying to put something together so quick, and then again, turns out so great.
It is what it is. It definitely threw a wrench into everybody's plans. It was, COVID has thrown a wrench into the world for the last 2.5 years or whatever it is now. So it's not like we're, an exception here. Obviously, with the Omicron variant, it's highly transmissible. And, I was fortunate enough, and my wife and Roman as well, we were all fortunate enough to avoid it for quite some time. But, it catches up to all of us, and it got us and kept Roman out. And we, the company felt like they needed to give the people what they paid for, whether it's, the Peacock subscribers or the live attendance. We were sold out in Atlanta. And so it was difficult. It was definitely difficult to go from a 4-way to a 5-way. And when that extra man is Brock Lesnar, that's a lot to be accounted for. And so I was just happy that we were able to give people their money's worth, and they felt like they weren't gypped by losing the main event match. And hopefully they got an even better main event match than they were expecting. So it was a hell of a train wreck, a car crash, whatever you want to call it. But I was happy to be a part of it.
Man, it's a hell of a match. And then out of that, we've got you and Roman and Lesnar and Lashley, 2 matches that we might not have got had things gone the way they were meant to go. So, I mean, as long as everyone's healthy and we got those matches, I can't complain. But looking at the Rumble, there's obviously, let's say you do beat Roman, I'll say it for you. You're going to be looking at who wins the Rumble, right? You've had a nice little alliance going with Kevin Owens, and you've got Big E bubbling away, trying to get back to the scene as well, as he calls you the captain. What do you make of that Kevin Owens storyline? How great was it to see him re-sign with WWE, for instance? Because I'm assuming somebody like yourself is always happy to see great talent stick around.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I want to work with the best people in the world, and Kevin Owens is one of those, no doubt about it. I've been a colleague of Kevin for, over 15 years now, and watching him progress to become one of the top performers on the planet has has been a pleasure. And so I'm very happy that he's around to help push, our company and our industry forward here with me. And so that's awesome. And the story with Kevin's very interesting because, if Kevin's history, my history. It's not like we've always been the most trustworthy individuals, but I think when we can gain some advantage by being on each other's side, we're certainly able to do that and willing to do that. And, like I said, Kevin's one of the best in the world. So if I have him at my disposal, why not use that? So, I'm loving and enjoying the time with Kevin. I think we have good chemistry on screen. And so, we'll kind of see where that goes. But the Royal Rumble is where it all leads. And if Kevin wins, then, we might have to put all that aside and have a WrestleMania rematch. I owe him one anyway.
Yeah, well, and that was another great match. But let's finish on this then. You said earlier Roman was a WrestleMania caliber match, main event. I mean, it absolutely is, by the way. So if you do have your way and the Universal titles are on your waist, who would you love to face at WrestleMania? Because you've wrestled so many great names. We've rattled them off on this call just in the past couple of years, man. Like, is there anyone still you'd love to tear the house down with on the biggest stage?
Oh, man, there's so many people. I mean, we mentioned a lot of them. You brought up Kevin, Big E. You talked about Roman. You mentioned Brock Lesnar. I think that the Royal Rumble's an awesome place to make new stars, too. You look at someone as recently as Bianca Belair on the female side, winning the Royal Rumble. It catapulted her into superstardom. And so I'd love to see that on the men's side. I think there's a lot of guys kind of bubbling, and we always need new top faces. And so I'd love to see somebody come out of nowhere and win it. I'd love to see a surprise. I'd love to see who the people get behind, and then who knows? There's tons of guys on the Raw roster. Finn Balor's someone that is kind of just sitting right there. You've got a Chad Gable. You've got a Matt Riddle. You got a Randy Orton. You got all these guys. Randy's obviously made, but he's riding a hell of a lot of momentum right now. So there's tons of guys. You got a Montez Ford. There's just lots of guys that I'd love to see take that next step and use the Royal Rumble as a springboard to a brighter future.